Alright, welcome. So tonight we are going to talk about using some pencils or pens or a couple of different things here to make some white lines, to do some detailing or some highlighting. I don't use them a lot, but I do use them from time to time, and if you use them right, they can really be effective. So I painted this bird a while ago. I'm not really happy with it, but I don't hate it either. But I just thought I'm going to pick this thing up and make a few lines on here with my white pen and just follow the curve of his wing here and over his head and make it look like maybe a couple of highlights on his feathers there, and it comes out kind of neat. It gives a little different element to the number of paintings that you do. I also did this one, which just a little practice piece for me. A little hummingbird, and I put a little highlight on his beak there, over his eyes, on his ears. This one, not as wild about the picture either as this one. I think it has to do with the fact that the only place I like it over here is in the dark areas. And the dark areas here comes out real nicely, but down here in the wing where it's not so dark, and definitely on his legs where there's some mottled color, it just doesn't work out quite as nicely. But I wanted to introduce these to you, let you see some of the tools that I use from time to time. So I do have a watercolor pencil kit. That's what this is, a white watercolor pencil. So you wouldn't necessarily use this for highlighting or making finished lines on here, but we're going to see how this works out anyways. I've got a white charcoal pencil here. It gets kind of messy. I used it to smear, blend in regular charcoal in a pencil if I do those kinds of drawings. Right, I've got a well, it says it's a Sharpie peel-off China marker. It's kind of like a grease board marker. It's a lot fatter. It makes a lot heavier line. We'll see what that one does. This is a pastel pencil. It's really kind of chalky. I don't like to use this much. Especially don't like to sharpen it because it's like chalk. It gets on everything. But we'll take a look at that too. I've got a regular. This is a Prismacolor color pencil just from a regular Prismacolor set. So we'll see how that does. I've got a General's Scribe All pencil here I bought at the local bookstore, and it will write, as it says, a Scribe All. It will write on just about everything, but we'll see how that one does in comparison to all those. And then I also have a Jelly Roll pen, which is what I did these lines with. And actually, when I bought this, I thought I bought one that had a heavier line weight, and I'm kind of happy I didn't now. So I've got these little lines, but we'll see that one too. So I've got a number of old pictures here. Whoops. Just some birds that I've painted whenever, fish here. And I thought, we've got some dark colors and some lighter colors here. We could draw on these and see how they look. So I'm going to start with, let me move some of these out of the way. I'm going to start with the gel pen here. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit so we can see. Alright, and let's just say I wanted to give a little line, something down here, indication of something. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm going to get used to the zoom on this camera at some point, I promise you. Right, if I do these nice big lines, I think you can see those right here. But if I go on anything a little bit lighter, it doesn't show up all that great. I think it shows up pretty good on this red here. And so maybe colors with a red tone or something that's really dark, this shows up pretty well on. But again, it doesn't make a very fat line. It's a pretty thin line there. So let's set that one off to the side. This is my General's Scribe All. Let's see. Whoops, I've already broken it. Okay, so I'm just, let's say we want to highlight going down these fins or along here somewhere. Alright, and this is what it looks like to me all the time with this. It does an okay job, but the line is a little bit broken, and if I do anything other than basically straight up and down, it gets flat and wide and really washed out here, and really not very dark at all. It works best if you're going mostly straight up and down with this one. Okay, let me get the next one out here, which is just the regular, this is just a regular, whoops, I'm sorry, here it is. This is just a regular colored pencil, and it is a little bit smoother, a little bit creamier, I guess you could say, to draw with, and it looks as though probably it's going to give a little better line than our General Scribe All pencil over there. So if I push down with this one fairly hard, I can make a pretty good sized white line, and I can go over that. This is how I like to do it, right around something's eye. I'll give the highlight on the eye, and that would definitely give you that. The other thing with this is it dulls pretty quickly. I don't know if you can see, I had this sharpened to a nice point when I started, and already it's dulled off and my lines aren't as crisp. So if you're doing a lot of stuff, maybe this isn't the best thing for you, but if you're doing a few little lines here and there, this might be a really good option for you. Alright, I think we're about done with that picture. Let me get the next picture out, and let's try our watercolor pencil here. I'm going to try give a little highlight on the beak, something on the top of his head, maybe following the feathers going around, and I'll do something under here where it's darkest. And as I would expect, it's a watercolor pencil, so it's a little transparent to begin with, certainly much more transparent than the regular colored pencil, and I feel myself pushing down just a little bit harder than I really want to get that. But maybe if you wanted a subtle line, white line on something, this would work pretty well for you. Okay, our next one here is our Sharpie peel-off China marker, and let's see, I'm going to draw some lines on his wing here. Let's say we want to highlight. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. This is so waxy. I can hear it lift off the page. But it does draw a nice big fat white line on there, and it's pretty opaque. If you look at this white line and these white lines up here, you can see these are pale in comparison to this white. So this is a really strong, really bold white line, but it's going to be a big white line. You better have a big area you want to put a highlight on, but you know, maybe that's what you want. You're doing a Christmas scene or something and you want to paint a pine tree, and you think at the end you'll go back in and put some snow on the pine boughs or something. This would probably be a great option for you. You can cover a lot of that pine bough and get some white on there without a whole lot of problem. Alright, let me get to my next picture here. This is a yellow tanager. Okay, I'm going to try my pastel pencil here, and to be honest, I haven't even touched this in a long time, so I'm a little interested, it's very chalky to write with. It feels like an old piece of chalk on a chalkboard, like when you were in grade school. But the line is pretty good. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty white. I mean, it's covering quite a bit there. We could give some highlights like that. There we go, and in a few quick lines we've changed the demeanor of our bird there, but nothing actually. I'm kind of liking this. If I need a bold white line and not quite as waxy as the other one, this one might work for you. Our last one here is our charcoal pencil, and this one I know will brush off. So it gives us some nice lines, and we can get some fine lines. I don't know, maybe we want some down here. It's always going to be a little tough on yellow. I didn't figure we were going to do too much on there, but it looks like you can see those lines on that yellow. Now let's say we've got some lines right around his head here. There we go. You can see these go on pretty good, but the problem with this is as soon as I go over them, they're going to smear. The other ones might smear a little bit. Oh, the pastel one really smeared. If I go over this charcoal one, it's like every other kind of charcoal. It's going to smear. So maybe that's good for you. You want to lighten up an area or something. It might be great, but for me, I would probably stay away from this one. And other than doing this test on another picture, I don't think I've used this pencil for any kind of watercolor paints ever since. So while we're at it, I'm going to try to smear these other ones. Here's our big, heavy China marker, the one that's really waxy. You see, it doesn't smear at all. A watercolor paint pencil, this one, I believe is what we use there, doesn't smear at all. And I would be surprised if any of these smear. And none of these ones smear. So, smears and rubs off, smears and rubs off. Our pastel pencil, our charcoal pencil, probably not our best choices. I like just the regular charcoal pencil, with the regular colored pencil, and I like our gel pen, the jelly. This one is the Jelly Roll 08 from Japan. So I like these. A quick, easy way to put on a few highlights, add some details to whatever you're painting, whatever you want to do. Give it a shot. It could really help your painting, and if not, it's an interesting technique to learn anyways. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this little tip tutorial on white lines and pens and pencils that we use to make those. If you liked the video, give a like, subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you back here again, and thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.